Who am I going to
Okay.
sue, Mr. Hakun?
Yeah. So now you have you have already preferred solution to the problem. You understand. So basically, the bottom line or the bottom line of of what you advocated for is to divide and everybody go his or separate ways, right? That's the
Yes.
summary.
Yes.
Okay. So now the problem, the truth is the problem with divide. I want us to highlight. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with what you are saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only trying to imagine that scenario. You understand where we have so many different groups. I think Yugoslavia, in former Yugoslavia in Europe, in Eastern Europe, used to have this divide, this unity, and then we couldn't hold up. They are all white people, but different languages, the same way, the same scene in Nigeria. But there, they had I think 6 or 7 different ethnic groups. So you now have Serbia, you have Albania, you have all these guys who broke away from former Yugoslavia. Now it's fine. You can have that scenario in Nigeria. But the problem is due to the level of awareness that we have right now, currently, people in every segment of society, especially ethnical segment of society, understand that their allegiance, first of all, is to their ethnic group. So, for example, as a Hausa guy, I would owe my allegiance to the Hausa, not the Nigerian state or the Nigerian traditional council, sorry, the Hausa traditional council, whatever it is that we have organized ourselves into. How many pieces do you think is going to come to?
Can I answer your question, Heckles?
Go ahead, sir.
Go ahead.
In 1882, one man called George Goldie was given what is called the Royal Charter by Queen Victoria of England. The Royal Charter meant that he could go to Nigeria as an estate of the British to amalgamate all the over 130 territories, kings, chiefs together under one government controlled by the ANC. ANC was African National Company, owned by George Goldie. Between 1883 to 1893, George Goldie had completed this assignment and then forced all the kings, including the Oba of Benin, of Lagos, from the north to the south to the central, to sign an agreement, a treaty with the company that they were all going to hand in their territories forever. Forever. I have a copy of that treaty. I've been able to access it. I've read the clause, about 2 paragraphs, very little, but very powerful. Complete, total handover of their territories to George Goldie. Now, one of the people that proved stubborn was Judge of Opobo. He ran away, but they succeeded in conscripting his territory also. Oba of the Oba of Lagos refused to hand in his territory. Something happened. They invited him to the high sea to have a meeting in the ship, in the boat with George Goldie. When he walked into the high sea, he got into the boat. He then didn't see George Goldie. He saw armed men with muskets, gun, pointed to his forehead. They told him, your life or your territory. He signed. Oba of Lagos signed off. Lagos was among the last territories that were signed off. Oba of Lagos signed just to save his life. That was where the word gumbo diplomacy came into political science lexicon. Now, when George Goldie signed off all the territories, all the territories were signed off to George Goldie, in 1899, the Royal Charter was revoked. I'm trying to answer the question of Heckles in respect of how many people, how many divisions Nigeria is going to be. When it was revoked, all the territories were then handed over in 1899 to Queen Victoria, and sold. Nigeria was sold. You can research about this. Nigeria was sold 820-something thousand pounds. That was how much that was
Nigeria was sold at that amount, yeah.
It was paid to George Goldie at 1899, and in 1900. Lord Lugard came from India and took over the territory as a Governor General. Now, it means that amalgamation did not take place in 1914. That's a false history. Amalgamation took place in 1899. Now, after that amalgamation, after that annexation of all the territories, that was when the British took over. Now, if potentially today we are asked to go in our different ways, there's going to be about 130 countries that will come out of Nigeria. Because what makes a country single, one culture, one language, one nationhood, that is the only drive that can bring development. But if you see all this multiplicity, there is no thriving world power today with multiple ethnic groups. I
Okay,
mean,
Kemet.
there is one dominant ethnic group, but there are others that are very small.
Look
There
at
are no,
Latvia. Look
there's no country that
Latvia,
has
Latvia, Lithuania. All these small country with 1 million,
small
1.5
countries.
million.
Yes,
Kemet.
they're all
Kemet.
functional states. Okay.
Kemet, hold on, my brother. I was waiting for that number. Can you mention the number again? Just
About
for clarity.
130 something. I have the list. I have the list of all the
No, it's
kings that
fine.
signed.
It's fine. I'm talking about how many countries do you think Nigeria is going to break away into?
Over 130 countries.
Okay, 130 countries. Now,
Yes.
in that description, hold on now. In that description, with the level of awareness that we have as Africans today, 130 countries, are you placing that description based on language, ethnicity, culture, or you are mixing everything together?
What description was it before 1899? That's the question you ask yourself. These are kingdoms that have been existing 2 million years before 1899. How were they existing?
It was tribe.
By what order were they existing?
It was tribal.
The Opobo
Hold
Kingdom,
on.
the Benin.
Hold on. Hold on, my brother. You see, it seems like you are trying. When you ask me these questions, we need clarity. You understand?
Okay.
Now, in Nigeria, as we speak currently, okay, documented ethnic groups, there are over 250 to 260. I don't even believe that account, but let's assume that's what it is, or it's close to. So 250. Now, you, like you rightly pointed out, highlighted 150. So 100 is missing out. Do you understand? So those 100, should they be modeled together with your 150, or should they stand alone?
Now, if you go to your village, you have a king, do you?
Yes.
Your village is one. Anywhere you go, that is one of the many. Anywhere you go in Nigeria and find...
Not my village. My ethnic group stands alone.
Do you have a king for your ethnic group?
Yes, we do.
Do you have one particular king that governs the whole ethnic group?
Yeah, we have one particular king through consensus. Listen carefully. Through consensus, we accepted one particular king. Do you understand?
When was that? When did they accept one particular king?
When did we accept him? 2020, 2019. Yeah.
Then that is not the order.
Okay, hold on now. Hold on.
That is not the ancient order.
Under my ethnic group, we have 5 different ethnic groups. Okay, just listen carefully.
What do you call ethnic group? Because if you are saying ethnic group, that we are being conservative with the narrative, okay? Can we be more precise about kingdoms and chiefdoms? Whether is it a king or is it a monarch?
So ethnic group, you understand, on the African plane, on the African continent. Your language is different.
No, I'm not going there. I know why I don't want to talk about language. We are going to contradict each other. Don't talk about language, because within a linguistic orientation, English is being spoken in Wales, it's being spoken in England, it's being spoken in Scotland, it's being spoken in some of the European countries. But that doesn't mean that they belong to one country. I don't want us to talk about language, okay? Linguistic orientation is not what defines a people. Okay. Yeah. So I'm talking about order of monarchy. Who rules? In my place, we call it Eze. Okay. You might call it Oba or whatever.
Hold on. Don't worry. You know, the thing is, we gradually grow into monarchy, in the sense that society needs to form itself, identify itself, create a cultural background for itself, and then now graduate to a singular operating system through a king. You can use that king. That king can be coming from different groups at different times. You understand? Now hold on to my let me explain my conversation and my argument to you.
Mm-hmm.
So in my socio-political existence, what I understand is we have Etilo. I'm from Benue State. Do you understand? We have Etilo, we have Igede, we have Utonkom, we have Idoma, we have Tiv. In Benue South, senatorial district, according to the Nigerian government. Listen carefully. Now, we have 5 different groups in Benue. So these 5 different groups have 5 different territories. You understand? When we are under the auspices of the Benue South, according to the Nigerian government, we are one unit, one entity. We send one senator out there because we have 3 different geopolitical, no, not geopolitical, senatorial districts.
No.
Understand?
Let me get you properly directed here. Okay. I'm not trying to dispute you. I just need to set a clarity. When you are talking about states, don't talk about nation groups. Because as at 1899, there was no Nigeria, there was no state.
Kemet, that's fine.
What I want to
Kemet, that's
establish is, for instance, I have a third thief, right? You have
yes.
third thief, right? Okay. Now, inside the thief as a nation, do you have another king inside thief?
Yes. So the way the subclass is like this. So you have the tortive, you understand? The tortive is a first class chief. You understand? He
Please
has
don't use that word first class. Don't use that word. That's an insult to other people.
ah
That's a description that is created to undermine other kings. All the monarchs are the same.
no, hold on. Calm down, calm down. You know the complexities of this conversation is why we are taking this time. Calm down. The tortive, the Ochidoma, you understand? The what's the other one? I think there are 3 of them in Benue or 2 of them thereabout. Now, within the Tortives jurisdiction, they still have sub chiefs. You understand?
Chiefs, you
Those
call them,
sub
right? You call them chiefs, right?
thieves have different dialects. Do you understand?
Okay,
Different
thief.
dialects. Thief, TV, they have different dialects. You understand? So there are different dialects and there are different way of approaching things. Cultural, masquerade. So Nigeria, listen, my brother. Let me be honest with you. Thomas. Nigeria is divided along tribal line, and when you want to pick the fragments, unfortunately for us, it's like a grenade going out, and people are you want to pick the fragments of grenade, you can't find it because there are so many. Let's be honest with ourselves. And let me tell you, because they are aware politically, they are not willing to join the Hausa as a geopolitical zone. They are not willing to join the Fulani because of their experience. They are neither even willing to join the IPOB or the Biafrans. I'm being honest with you, they are not willing to.
Who's not willing?
The tribes that we find along the divide of the Nigerian state.
I think where we are going to get this in right is if Nigerian people come to the realization that neither something changed fundamentally on the current state is unsustainable. So once we get to that understanding, the UN, if they can put their selfish interest away, that country will successfully divide and govern itself
After
individually.
a referendum, everybody
I may
decide.
not agree that we are going to have 130 something states out of the nation, but the possibility of having at least 30 is something achievable. Because let us be honest with ourselves. There are tribes that don't want to go with each other, but that is not going to be determined by tribal. It's going to be determined by the geographical area, by what is practically possible. And then we can trade with each other. I think we can be able to manage that. But currently, the problem is this: Nigerians are just answering the name Nigeria. Nobody's a Nigerian. It's a lie. While you are talking, my brother, I've just asked, And historically, Nigeria was a British project. He said Nigeria is not a nation. It is a British project. Nigeria was created in 1914. I know you said that was incorrect, Mr. Kemet. You say it's longer than that, right? Through the first amalgamation by Lord Lugard. It was not built on sheer identity, sheer value, sheer language, sheer culture, sheer economy. It was a business for the British government. We are living inside a structure that was never designed for unity, collaboration, justice. So you cannot build a stable house on a colonial foundation. The constitution we are talking about, the constitution locked everyone inside a broken system. The 1999 constitution, the centralized power, kill local autonomy, destroy innovation, destroy accountability, create dependencies, protect the political class, suffocate ethnic harmony. It's a polaric society. It cannot function under this kind of constitution disguised as a federalism. The system has forces. The system has forced different ethnicity groups to depend on one incompetent center. The result is resentment, blame, and constant ethnic fraction. So breaking up is not the only solution, but the structure must change. There are three possible paths, and these are the options. Option one, restructuring of Nigeria. A true federal system where a state control their resources, state manage their security, state police exist, state keep majorities of revenue, power is decentralized, the center become ceremonial, not controlling. This option can save Nigeria. Can save Nigeria. That is the key word. Option two, return to the 1963 model. The northern region, the western region, and the eastern region. I want to bring Mr. Kemet in. What is existing in 1963? Can
Now,
you?
1963,
Because
Nigeria had three
for those
regions.
of you guys who don't understand, the guy is talking, he's a lecturer, and his knowledge is highly valued. I can never be able to pay to have you on my platform, my brother.
In
And I really appreciate your wisdom.
1963, Nigeria had three regions headed by Murtala Muhammad. Abakata Fabele was a prime minister. They had Nnamdi Azikiwe as the governor general or the president in 1963. Now, but remember, Nnamdi Azikiwe didn't want to be the president. He was coerced into being the president. He was blackmailed because he had a criminal case hanging on his neck, of which he was to be tried in London. Remember, before 1963, the Supreme Court of Nigeria was in London. So he had a case that was about that were going to send him to jail. So they told him, see, look, you have to agree, because being the leader of NCNC, you have to agree to one Nigeria. You have to agree to be the president in order to pull the Igbos in, though this, not even the Igbos, the southern Nigeria, southeast Nigeria, into eastern Nigeria, into this Nigerian project. Because Awolowo gave his condition. Look, my condition is regional system. They needed the east, and then Nnamdi Azikiwe was the head of the NCNC. They had to pull him in. If you don't agree, we'll put you in prison. He said, I don't have money. They brought in a man called Okotie Ebo. Okotie Ebo later became the labor minister under him. Okotie Ebo, yeah, he's a money bag.
It's a money bag. All of the children of Oketebo are billionaires in Lagos at the moment.
See, he funded the election.
They are billionaires. They have, I know one Mrs. Oketebo. She has, I know she has more than 200 houses in Ikoyi.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes,
So Oketiebo literally funded the election for Nnamdi Azikiwe, and he became the president. Now, in 1963, Nigeria had a regional system. In the north, there was this guy, what's that name of the northern region? I'll remember it. Then in the west, I had Awolowo. Awolowo gave free education to.
Are you talking about Tafa Balewa?
No, not Tafawa Balewa. Not Tafawa Balewa was a prime minister. I remember the name. Now in the west, he had Awolowo, gave free education. In the north, there was Granite Pyramid, the tallest pyramid, Granite Pyramid as at that time. There was economic abundance in agriculture in the north. In the east, he had M.I. Opara, who was engaging in a commercial reform. That is why till today, the east is the base of business. The west is a base of education. I give it to Yorubas; they're very intelligent. They all enjoy scholarship. Their grandfathers did, their fathers did. In the north, they have agriculture. All of these we are core foundations laid by these three nationalists. As of 1963, the GDP growth rate of Nigeria was 8.7, double the GDP growth rate of UK and US put together. That was when they said, no, we can't allow this to happen. If it happened, for those that did economics, GDP growth rate, anything called rates, if you hear rates in economics or statistics, is used as a measure, as a determinant to a value. That is why I say exchange rates. Okay, GDP growth rate is used as a determinant to a value. That is not the value. Rates is flexible. The value itself is constant. When you say exchange rate, it therefore means that the rate is used to determine the value of something, either currency or something. Now, when you say GDP growth rate, it is used to determine the rate of GDP, let's say in the next 5 years. So if your GDP growth rate is 8.7, it means and in the next 5 years, whatever be the value now will be 8.7 times bigger in the next 5 years. They saw it and said, no, if we continue, Nigeria is going to be an economic base that Africa and the world will shake. They had to bring in the narrative of ethnic division, which was why I didn't want Hecos to start talking about ethnicity, because there's nothing like ethnicity before 1914. There was nothing like ethnicity before 1963. The ethnic narrative was painted by the BBC to justify military invasion. But before that time, remember that between 1963 to 1965, the 5 people that plotted the coup were all trained in Sandhurst, England. They were all taken out of England, trained, prepared for the coup. They were trained for the coup. And before 1965, the Nigerian Military Intelligence Office was still in London. It therefore means that when they saw that the economic abundance, 1963 was the most perfect time. We call it the miracle of the First Republic in political science. It was a miracle that the world could not believe, that a new nation of less than 3 years of its independence
It's booming.
could run such a competent economic project. In the north, it was purely agriculture. In the west, scholarship, education,
Administration.
Yes. In the east, business. Till today, the structure is still there because it was properly laid by nationalists. That was why they said, no, let the coup. They brought the coup and they had to give it an ethnic correlation. That's why I say, hey, don't go to that direction, ethnic. The ethnic is a colonial creation. We are not known by ethnic standards before 1963 because the Nigerian army had about 60% Igbos. There was no conflict, no Boko Haram. I could go up the back of my house and sit down till 2 a.m. They would call it moonlight dance. It was normal up until
People sleep outside.
Sleep outside in my village. So there was nothing like ethnic coloration in Nigeria context up until 1963. That's why I say, hey, don't go towards that direction. You're going to really contradict history. Now, after that, they destroyed that coup d'etat was necessary. So they created a narrative. There has to be a narrative to every. Oh, someone is snoring.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's late, isn't it? Yeah, go ahead. We're going to end it here because this topic is so beautiful and we are trying to give accountability. And I want to thank you because I can engage you and you can engage on this topic for a very long time. But we're not going to be able to break it down completely with the time we have on our hand. Might have to reconnect again.
Absolutely.
Because this is something Nigerians want to know.
And Vidian will not know this. He doesn't even have the right access to proper education.
No. His people. These are not their topic. That's why they're not coming.